Diane Trad.
Here.
Diane is here. Mary Ann Manzi.
Here.
Michael Fiato.
Here.
Christine Clancy. Jim Cook.
Here.
Joel Boyd.
Here.
Jay Mason.
Here.
Jeff Wilson. Ben Opara. We have Sergeant David Peasley, but I think there's a change there. So, Lieutenant.
Here.
Maria Sheehy. Connor Baldwin.
Present.
Billy Joe Turner. Richard Underwood. Mike Vaughn.
Here.
Okay, very good. Well, welcome everyone. Let me just announce this is the School Building Committee meeting of December 10, 2020 for the Lowell High School project. Let me just quickly read that pursuant to Governor Baker's emergency order modifying the state open meeting law issued March 12, 2020, meetings will be held using remote participation as follows. Waive the full reading by Mayor Leahy, seconded by Senator Kennedy. Entertain a motion to accept that order and place on file by Mayor Leahy, seconded by Senator Kennedy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that will be the case. You should have all gotten the minutes from our September 17th, 2020 meeting. Are there any questions, changes, additions that you want to make or comments about those minutes?
Move to accept the minutes.
Move to accept by Senator Kennedy, seconded by Councilor Samaras. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. That passes. Next on our agenda is a review of cost estimates and reconciliation process. And I will turn this portion of the meeting over to Mary Ann Williams from Skanska. Mary Ann?
Thank you. Good evening,
Good evening.
Madam Manager and members of the School Building Committee. We're very pleased to be here tonight. This has been the third estimate reconciliation process that we've gone through since the approval of the schematic design. I wanted to let you know that it was a very engaging and thoughtful process that we went through. Just to give you a little background on the process, we received the 90% construction documents from Perkins Eastman and their subconsultant. That Suffolk Construction, as well as PM&C, conducted independent cost reviews. The initial estimates that came back were PM&C was at 265 million and Suffolk was at 270 million. We had a delta overall of about 5.5 million between the two firms. And what we did is that we went through a reconciliation process where we review unit costs, scope, quantities, to make sure vetting the understanding and interpretation of the document. It was a very thoughtful and thorough process. We saw numbers go up and down for both firms within their estimates, as we had the benefit of Perkins Eastman and their subconsultants, their engineering disciplines, engaged in the process as well. We were able to reconcile the overall budget to be within a couple of $100,000 of each other, 202,000 to be exact. And we reconcile both estimates within our targeted budget. So kudos to the team. I'm very pleased at the efforts of Suffolk and PM&C and Perkins Eastman, and think we're in a pretty good place to submit to the MSBA.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary Ann. Any questions for Mary Ann regarding the cost estimates and the reconciliation process that was reported on? Okay, in which case, hold on. In which case, entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
by Mr. Cook, seconded by Counselor Samaras. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That passes. We'll move on to the construction update, and we'll turn this over to Chris Wallington. Chris from Suffolk.
Sure. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Very happy to say that we have mobilized to the site on time. So after the lengthy pre-con period that Mary Ann Williams was mentioning, and the estimates have all come in at budget, we're happy to be on site. So we did mobilize out there on October 16th, began setting up our fencing and securing the site. Then the following week, we began abatement of the old medical office building at 75 Arcand. That took about a month to complete. So we're on right around November 20th, we began the demolition of the actual building. You've probably seen it. It took us a couple of days to tear it down, and then about another 2 or so weeks to get everything out of there. Today, we took out the last of the foundations of the site. They did have asbestos on them, which we knew, and that material is being trucked out to Ohio. So now we're getting ourselves set up. We'll be doing a few little test pits out there tomorrow, and then on Monday we'll be mobilizing our site contractor to begin preparing the site to get ready for the next trade out there, which is the foundations. For phase 1 and phase 2, we'll be doing what they call rammed aggregate piers, which is a ground improvement technique where we drill holes into the ground and then pressure inject stone into them to improve the soil conditions out there. I think we're doing about 880 of them, I believe, in just phase 1 alone. So you'll see that process starting up over the next couple of weeks, and that will then follow up with concrete foundations, which will then set the footprint for the building, which are due to start in late January, early February. That's kind of the next path out there for activities. It'll be a little bit slow again as you see that the rammed aggregate piers get installed and move to foundations, and then when steel goes up, there'll be a lot more activity on site. But so far, it's gone very well, and it's been a very good pre-con process, and very happy to get into the construction side.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions about that process? I think we also did we not have pretty good news about the bids on the concrete and the steel? They were not over budget, a little bit under budget?
They were, yes. Yep. The first 3 packages for phase 1 all came in under budget, which was great news.
Yeah. Very good news. Councilor Elliott, welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
No problem. Okay, so if there's no further questions about that, we'll move on to the vote. And this is a vote to authorize Skanska and Perkins Eastman to submit the 90% construction document package to the MSBA. This is our next important step in the process. I don't know if you want to speak to it, Mary Ann, or as far as what this means.
Yes, so what this means is this is the final submission to the MSBA prior to completing the final bid documents. So the MSBA will have an independent architectural firm do a peer review of the drawings. They'll review the submission to make sure that it is at the completed level that one would hope it to be, working towards finalizing the documents to make sure that we have a biddable set of documents, meaning that there wouldn't be confusion to the bidding community, which would allow us to have more competitive pricing. They'll review all of the phasing and logistics and schedule that we've included based on prior feedback from the MSBA, which it's an iterative process. We keep addressing their comments. They do fully understand and appreciate the work that we've done, that this is a very complicated and complex project. And there has been a lot of planning that has gone into the phasing, the logistics, the schedule, involving and engaging the design team, the mechanical engineers, because our overall goal is to keep the school fully operable while we're conducting this construction process. So these reports, it's a way of, the report is really a reporting of all of the work we've done to date. and it's reflected in the drawings and the specifications. And so it is their way to vet that we have actually done our due diligence so that we would be in a solid place to bid the project in the beginning of February.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions regarding this next phase? Mayor Leahy?
Good, thank you. I have one question. A concern was brought up to me from the nursing staff at the high school, and I didn't know, they were wondering, well, I haven't seen the drawings in a few months, actually, to be honest. Is the nurses station in the middle of the building, and why did we maybe not put it towards an outside wall so anybody who's sick could go from the nurses station right outside, or if they need an ambulance, you know, right outside on a gurney or something like that. So, and I know it's late in the game here, but I just figured I'd ask for them.
Yeah, I don't know whether Perkins or whoever wants to answer.
Yes, Perkins will respond.
Joe or Robin, I'm not sure which. Joe Drown.
Sure. We have been working with the school from the beginning, and you know, there's pushes and pulls of all programs that happen within the building, and the location of the nurses suite is actually very close proximity to a door. It's not on the outside of the building, but it's within a very short distance. I don't recall what that is. I think it's, you know, in the 20 to 30 foot range, and it has a direct door that is directly out to Father Morissette. And it was designed like that so that it would have that close proximity and have, so you didn't have to go through the main entrance to come to the nurse's suite, or for someone in the nurse's suite having to leave.
Okay, so I mean, in light of everything that's going on with COVID, where like if the school were built today, ideally, you know, you'd go to that office and you'd go right outside so you don't affect anybody. But we feel comfortable that where it's positioned now, it's easy access in and out, even if somebody were, say, on a gurney, like it like had to get on a stretcher to get out or something. It's not restrictive or anything like that.
It's not restrictive at all. It is a clear shot to that outside door. I don't have a plan to show you, but we can get something to you so that you can see it. It's in very close proximity.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, maybe if we could get that, we could circulate with the school building committee. It is a question that comes up, so we could at least kind of demonstrate. I know the plans are multiple thousands of pages, but if we can kind of isolate that piece, I think that would be helpful for the mayor or anybody who's being asked about it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to approve and authorize Skanska and Perkins to submit 90% construction document package to the MSBA.
So moved.
By Council Snare, seconded by Jay Mason. Thank you. If there are no questions, I'll call the roll. Mayor Leahy.
Yes.
Senator Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Councilor Samaras.
Yes.
Representative Mom. School Committee Member Connie Martin.
Yes.
Diane Trad.
Yes.
Mary Ann Manzi.
Yes.
Michael Fiato.
Yes.
Christine Clancy.
Yes.
James Cook.
Yes.
Joel Boyd.
Yes.
Jay Mason.
Yes.
Jeff Wilson. Ben Opara. Lieutenant Peasley.
Yes.
Maria Sheehy. Connor Baldwin.
Yes.
Billy Joe Turner. Richard Underwood. Mike Vaughn. I know Mike's here.
He's
Where'd he go?
He's not
Oh, here.
here.
Yes.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Thank you. So approved. Last on our agenda, next steps, Mary Ann?
Yes, so the next steps is we will submit tomorrow to the Mass School Building Authority. I've been working with the design team, going through the final review. What will happen next is that the MSBA will take approximately 3 to 4 weeks before we receive the next round of MSBA review comments. What we'll do is the team will address and respond to those comments in the final design. So we're working towards completion of the documents with final input from Suffolk and Skanska, the commissioning agent, finalizing the implications of the phasing plans and logistics. And then additionally, at the same time, we're going to be working on developing a diversity plan and how to achieve MBE-WBE compliance in terms of percent of contract dollars. We'll be looking at workforce participation goals and percentage of hours to be achieved. So we'll be setting up that process and structure for reporting and tracking. And then that will be included in the bid document. So it will be part of the scope of work and requirement for the subcontractors. And just as a little bit of a distinction, the MBE-WBE compliance has to do with minority and women business enterprise. Workforce participation has to do with the boots on the ground, and that we want to make sure that we achieve those goals as well. So we're in the process. We were on a call today with the Mass School Building Authority discussing that. Connor Baldwin was on the call. It was probably about 150 some odd people included there. We had input from the Treasurer's Office, the Attorney General's Office, and so I think that and Suffolk was on the call as well as Skanska. So we feel so we have a very good understanding. It is part of Suffolk's contract, and we carry dollars for this for them to develop their diversity plan and to monitor this on a weekly basis. And this is monitored through certified payrolls. And so if we have a problem, we're going to be able to not only look at the subcontracts, but also look at what's happening in terms of the reporting. So the next step after we bid the project is that we want to vet the bidders. We have what you call file sub-bidders and non-file sub-bidders. The file sub-bidders have been pre-qualified. And so that will be a function of when we receive a number from them, it will be from the lowest qualified bidder in that trade, assuming that they have provided all the required documentation and they've been fully responsive. The non-file sub-bid trades are also being pre-qualified, and there's an opportunity where we can negotiate, and actually that would help us in supporting our goals for additional MBE compliance and workforce participation. So overall, once the project is bid, it takes several months to de-scope all of these subcontractors. And what we do is that we will take the opportunity to, when we vet and we award a subcontract, assuming it's within budget, then when the contract is awarded, we're capturing where we are under budget, and we'll have an opportunity as we go through that process to collect that money and redeploy or repurpose it, so to speak, to be building appropriate contingencies and allowances and an appropriate construction contingency. So as we go through this process and we're learning more, we want to make sure that we have an appropriate general conditions for staffing costs for Suffolk construction. We want to make sure that we have appropriate general requirement costs accounted for. We want to have a reasonable and responsible construction contingency, which is to cover any additional costs that results from unforeseen conditions, unanticipated cost overruns, or opportunities for expediting and accelerating the schedule where needed. So what we do is we want to put together a durable, reliable, guaranteed maximum price that's referred to as a GMP, and that will be the business term, so to speak, of the contract. And then as we go through the process, there will be change orders. We have separate pots of money that are part of the overall project budget to address those, because there's always change orders, not only with new construction, but with renovations and phase project. So once we're able to achieve that guaranteed maximum price within budget, then we would ask this group again to approve and proceed with the final guaranteed maximum price and to amend the contract and go through the appropriate parties here through the city manager's office, et cetera. So that is really our plan for going forward. And I think as we've been working on this collectively, we have a really good plan, and we just keep trying to work out, if there's a question, we have to figure it out. And that's what we've been doing. So I don't know if Perkins, Eastman, or Suffolk want to add to the comments here, but I think we have a good solid team working together, and I'm confident we're going to achieve our goals here.
Okay, any other comments? I don't know if Perkins or Suffolk has anything to add.
From the Suffolk side, I couldn't agree more. It's been a great set of drawings, been a really great team effort, and it's been a nice pre-construction period. And like I said, we're very excited to move into the construction phase, but it's really a nice team, and everyone's really worked really hard and really well together.
Great.
Yeah, I concur with Chris and Mary Ann. It's been a great team effort. Getting the CM involved early has been tremendous help in terms of opening up the building and looking for unforeseen conditions that sometimes crop up. Has been a great contribution to the design effort. It's a really strong team, and it's a really strong set of documents. And I think that's reflected in the costs. So looking forward to wrapping it up and getting it out to bid for you.
Thank you. And, I think there's been so much planning and teamwork. I just want to commend everybody. It really has been a tremendous process, a tremendously large process. But, the details that have gone in are quite important as we move forward. As you've mentioned tonight here, the diversity plan was something that we put into the contract and negotiated very aggressive goals for this project, both for minorities, for women, and business owners. And we look forward to now we're looking forward to, and we're hearing, how is that going to be implemented? How is it going to be checked? How are we going to make sure that we are indeed reaching those goals? So again, I want to commend everybody who's been working on this. I don't know if anybody else on the committee has any comments or questions at this point. Yes, Councilor Elliott.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to follow up. I appreciate all the planning that has gone into it, and I appreciate the report, Mary Ann. I just want to follow up on what you talked about with the diversity plan. We actually had another discussion about construction projects in the city, and this past Tuesday's city council meeting, the mayor and Councilor Samaras, we another motion that was put forward. But my question to you is, and I appreciate the plan, I think that's important as we move forward. The question is relative to an apprentice program that will include, is that part of the diversity plan with the WBE diversity plan? Because I do think it's important. I think there was unanimous support at the outset to have an apprentice program for, as well as a veteran component with the bio sub-bid or the subcontractors. Can you speak to that a little bit? Is that 'cause I think it's-
Kim, we're not, we haven't fully developed the plan, but let me just say that in looking at this type of project that we have and the trades that would be involved, we're going to have a fair amount of signatory trades on the job. So for example, Suffolk is signatory with the carpenters and laborers. Many, actually, all of the union trades do have apprenticeship training programs. There are some open shop trades that also have apprenticeship training programs, and independent of the union programs. We understand in terms of veterans that, it's an interesting conversation that took place today on the call with the MSBA, where is probably about, and I want to make sure I'm quoting the right number, but somewhere about 40% of the women that are currently going into the construction trades, a lot of them are veterans. So it's not that we're making this strictly about women, but there is a lot of interest from from veterans coming out and then going into the building trades. So this will all, as I said, we send our information out to the internal team. Actually, Jim Dowd and I were talking about it today, and we put an agenda together, and that's something that we're hoping to get underway very shortly, to start building on how are we going to do this. And what was great about the meeting with the Mass School Building Authority, Frank Callahan was one of the speakers, as was Deb Anderson from the bid unit from the AG's office. So there is a huge effort and consideration and concern with state dollars in trying to meet these goals. So that is all part of it, and it actually starts even earlier with the vocational schools and training, and students coming out of those schools and being accepted into apprenticeship programs.
Oh, that's good. I just felt, I'm sure the mayor and Council Samaras, we just wanted to express the interest and the importance of that element of the budget.
If I may offer one thing, this is an issue near and dear to my heart because I started in this industry as a union carpenter. So I do understand the different perspectives about how do we achieve something.
Great, great. And Madam Manager, something when that report, you filed that report, or in response to that motion, I think this discussion and what's taking place with this particular project will add value.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And we have had conversations with Suffolk. I don't know, the Rex or Chris can address it, but also working with the vocational school, youth build, UTech. There's going to be outreach to all of the local groups and internship and apprenticeship. So Chris, I don't know if you or Rex are prepared to answer it, but it is something that's been in the work.
That's fine.
Correct.
Madam. As long as it's on the table and it's going to be included. I'm sure all the details haven't been worked out, but in principle, that's important. So I don't have to belabor the issue any longer. Right?
Councilor Samaras.
Thank you. Yes, Councilor Elliott's correct. I mean, this issue was brought up, and I'm glad he talked about that. And I'm very glad to hear that that Suffolk and everybody has a plan, a diversity plan. Also, that was requested was the idea of jobs open to citizens of Lowell. People in Lowell to have access to these programs. But that motion was filed Tuesday, but we also had motions filed by the previous city council, Madam Manager, as you're aware of. And most of these, all of these issues were raised. And if that could be, included in the plan as to what planning is taking place, and if Suffolk and all the other companies can come in with, a report, narrow the report so it can be understood by members of the city council and provided to the community as to, what steps have been taken on this big project to ensure equality and diversity and all those issues are being met at the same time building a Class A high school.
Thank you. Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions or comments? No? All right. Well, then I guess we come to that sad part of the evening where I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Senator Kennedy,
Third.
thank you all. Thank you all and have a happy holiday season. And we look forward to seeing you in the new year. We don't have a date set yet for our next meeting, but as we progress through these process with the MSBA, I'm sure we'll be calling you back in to keep you up to date. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye.
Holidays.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Yep,
same
Very
from
good.
here. Bye-bye.